7:02. Here we go. Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Land Use and Building Management Committee meeting of October 2nd, 2024. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:03. First item is roll call. Tonight we have with us council members Greg Burnett, Nicole Eady, Nicole Ayers, and myself, Barbara Smith. And if we have others join, I'll go ahead and make that notation, and but we do have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is public participation. Do we have anyone in the attendees who would like to speak?
Joanne, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the list here.
I do see Diane Laricella has her hand raised.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
But yeah, if we could move her over.
I'm not seeing her like you must be. Gallery. No. This is me. No.
Attendees?
Oh, there. Okay. Sorry. There it is. Okay. Diane, where is she? There she is. Okay. There you go.
Thank you. Good evening. Joanne, your picture's upside down. You're defying gravity.
I know. I wanted to get started first and then I'll figure that one out.
Sure,
Yeah,
no
we've been
problem.
having a good chuckle about that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. For the record, my name is Diane Laricella, 21 Little Fox Lane. Wanted to comment on a few things. The first is item 4A, Mary Roman, truly a Norwalk treasure. And I guess you're going to be setting up a public hearing, or I'm not sure what stage this is at, but I'm Mary and she's a member of my church. She was a member, truly a Norwalk treasure. So I think it's a terrific idea to name that track behind City Hall in her honor. Item 5A1, there will be a discussion, I look forward to hearing it, about the need for the Ford F-450 truck. I wanted to know, I know that it's a hard-working vehicle, but at this stage, also because there's been precedent set, I wanted to know whether or not, and if not, why not, this truck is not an electric truck. Because number one, just pragmatically and health-wise, the turbo diesel on page 18, they're talking about asking for a turbo diesel. Of course, they have the air quality, all the proper air quality controls, but in the face of what the city's just starting to do with fleet operations, I would hope that the Board of Education, which is up to 65% of our full taxpayer dollars, would embrace the same request for electrifying their vehicles. And even though this is hauling heavy equipment, if anyone tells you that it's too heavy for an electric truck, they would be misinforming you. So I wanted to know, there are rebates available, and I wanted to know if that has been sought after. If not, put this on hold without prejudice. Since it's March of 2025, you have at least one more month to look for and compare notes on what an electric truck, powered truck would be, an EV truck. And lastly, on item C under school construction, item C1, I wanted to ask, first I didn't know what FF&E meant. I found out later by scrolling down its furniture and other things, equipment. I wanted to know if there's a Board of Education policy or a purchasing department policy, since the money does come out of, the capital budget. And that is, I know that it's being reimbursed 80%, 2.5 million is being assigned to FF&E. I wanted to know what standards there were for ensuring that they are PFAS-free, phthalate, PHTHLATE free, because we don't want off-gassing by the rugs and the furniture into the air plenum of where children are and teachers are all day. So I wanted to know what standards. Then when I got to looking at the actual list, I noticed that they're very expensive. I know we want these furniture to last, but I ask all of you to look at pages such as 41 and 43, where an administrative credenza is $5,400. A faculty chair is $300. A
Ms.
faculty
Larchella, you're at 3.5 minutes. Could you wrap up, please?
I will wrap up. I ask that this committee, instead of just blindly agreeing to the long list of expensive, they seem to be a little over the top. And even though it's reimbursed by state tax dollars, they're our tax dollars. I'm a fiscal moderate as a Democrat. So I ask that you look at this line by line, especially page 43, an $8,000 credenza. And I think that we could be more fiscally moderate on the list of new equipment for this new school. So I look forward to hearing what all of you say about my comments as to whether you're going to do your homework and not just take this list at face value. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Larchella. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Doesn't look like it.
We do have a guest, Nick. Nick, if you'd like to speak, you can unmute. Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, so I will close public participation. Moving on to minutes of the previous meetings, I'm going to make a motion to table the minutes simply because page 1 was missing and the committee has not had the opportunity to read those that page of the minutes. So I'm going to make a motion to table that until the November meeting. All in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, thank you very much. So that'll be tabled to the November meeting. Moving on to old business. A review request for the naming of the walking track at Mountquist Field in memory of Ms. Mary Roman, and vote to schedule a public hearing, which would take place on November 2nd at our next meeting. We did vote on this item and moved it to the Recreation and Parks Committee. They also had to approve it, but we do need to also have a public hearing as a matter of our, the ordinance that requires us to do that. And so does anyone have any comments or questions? Before I call for a vote, I know that this was something that passed unanimously in the last meeting. Right now, we're just voting on the public hearing. Okay, so I will call for a vote. All in favor of the scheduling the public hearing for the next meeting, please raise your hand. Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to new business. Item A under Board of Education. Number 1, review proposal for, I just realized I didn't ask for a motion for that, did I? Mr. Burnett, will you make that motion? Thank you very much. Got to get those technicalities taken care of. Okay, item 1, review proposal for the purchase of a refrigerated box truck for Norwalk Public Schools, and refer the following to the Common Council for action. Authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Gabrielli Truck Sales of Milford as a sole source vendor for a 2024 F450 refrigerated box truck for a total not to exceed $135,000, account number noted. Will someone move the item, please? Mr. Burnett, thank you very much. So I'm going to turn this over to, who's going to take this? Is that Bill? Joe. Okay, go ahead. Whoever's gonna take this.
Hi,
Please.
I apologize. It's Jill Kress from the Norwalk Public Schools Food Service Department.
Okay, hi.
Joe
You don't
shared the
look
link
like
with me.
You don't sound like Joe.
Joe shared the link with me, so I'm assuming
Okay.
that that's why I'm coming up with his name, and I'm on my phone. So,
Okay.
so I do apologize. I just so if there are questions in regards to the truck, I am happy to answer. In regards to the refrigerated truck, we did request, and I did hear part of the comments. This is a diesel truck, because it's a refrigerated box truck, and the refrigerated box truck kind of requires the diesel engine for the reefer that has to go on top of the vehicle. And we were not able to really find an electric vehicle that could, run as an electric vehicle with the refrigeration on top of it. We did have to go with diesel and not propane because of that same reason. We would have had 2 separate gas tanks if we did go with propane and not a diesel engine because of the reefer on top of it. So that was one of the reasons, or maybe 2 of the reasons.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. I imagine this, it's a specialty type of product. Does anyone have any questions or comments? I know this is a hardworking vehicle, and keeping the food fresh for the kids is quite important. Ms. Ayers, you have a question or comment?
Thank you, Chair Smith. First of all, thank you for food service for the public schools. You guys don't get the recognition I think you really deserve all the time, but thank you as a parent whose child uses your services. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My questions are simple. Can you just elaborate, if at all possible, on how often you have to buy these trucks and the capacity of the trucks as they are in service?
So this is probably, I've been working with Norwalk Public Schools for 23 years, and this is the maybe second truck. So the first one we're driving now, and that's what we are hoping to replace. And this is the second vehicle that we've actually purchased for the food service department. The capacity, we are loading, you have about 12 schools you're loading the food on these trucks for. So it needs to really hold about a almost with the lift gates and stuff that are required. I want to say we're in like 10,000, 12,000 pound, when it comes to all the other items that are included on that truck. So I don't know if you're looking at.
No, thank you for saying that. I think I want to ask, is this one truck the only truck we have in the district? Is it servicing all the schools? Like, we're just using one truck to do all the food service? Is that my understanding?
No, this would be the second truck. But because we basically have the management company as part of our the district with the food, Chartwells is also loaned us a truck. So this would be the district vehicle, and Chartwells loans us a truck for a second vehicle. So we wouldn't be purchasing 2. We would just be purchasing this one for a district truck, and then the other we loan from our management company.
Okay, so I'm sure that's cutting savings somewhere.
Yeah, it does. It's with the district truck, it is a savings for us because they're not leasing us that Chartwells vehicle. So we will utilize the old truck for as long as we can, but it's probably not going to last much longer. So we do want to have a truck in the works at least, so that when this one is no longer usable, we have it. We have this new vehicle to utilize.
Thank you for those answers.
Sure.
Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, Jill.
Hi, Mr. Burnett.
Hi, you kind of answered some of my questions, which is what are we currently using? And so it sounds like we're borrowing a truck from some other entity that is not a City of Norwalk truck. Is that correct?
We are still trying to use the current Norwalk truck. So the previous vehicle is still in use, but we are currently leasing or borrowing a Chartwell's vehicle as well. So we do have two trucks around the district. One is usually the Norwalk truck, but depending on, how it breaks down, sometimes we do have to rent a vehicle. And we do have one other truck, which is Chartwell. So there are two trucks riding around the district every day. One is Chartwell's and one is the Norwalk Public Schools truck. But because the Norwalk Public School truck is not all that reliable, sometimes we are using a rental vehicle to do that.
So the next question is, should this truck get approved, what will we do with the current Norwalk truck? Is there an opportunity to repurpose that somewhere in the
Yes.
district?
Yes, we would hopefully utilize it for catering deliveries, which is more very minimal and not really as frequent. And the end of the kit. So we would definitely hold on to it for as long as we can, until probably we can't drive it anymore. And then we would try and hold on to that truck for as long as we could.
Joe, we missed a little bit of what you were saying just as you were going into, because you're breaking up a little bit. When you were saying
I'm
about,
sorry.
yeah, you would use it for occasional catering. So it kind of, we dropped off there a little bit.
Okay, so let me see if I could maybe not use. We would try. Is this okay? Is this
Yeah,
better?
that seems good. That seems
We
good.
would try and hold on to that truck for as long as we could, because we hate to just get rid of something that's still driving. So we would probably utilize it for catering deliveries that we utilize for the district, and for any of the outside schools that we may do catering functions for. So we would probably hold on to that truck for those types of deliveries, as well as if a school forgets something. One of my drivers right now uses his own car to bring that stuff out to the schools if they ordered something or the delivery didn't come. So it would be kind of like a third-hand vehicle, so that when our drivers are out at the district schools delivering, that truck can hold any additional needs that might need to happen that are not anticipated during the day.
Thank you. And one final question, just to address the comment that was made during public participation. So based upon your research, an electric vehicle is not an option for the purposes of this refrigerated truck. Is that correct?
It is. It's not an option because as an electric vehicle, you have a reefer that you have to keep, that's used to keep the food cold. And then you have your truck, the regular, truck to run. So the electric vehicle wouldn't have enough power to keep that refrigeration going on a regular basis. So it would be kind of difficult for us to have an electric vehicle that could basically, run the reefer for the
Great,
refrigeration.
Great, thank you.
Ms. Ayers, did you have another question?
No, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
My hand is
It's
up.
okay, your hand's still up. It's okay. Okay, all right, very good. If there are no further comments or questions, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that's unanimous. Very good. Thanks very much, Jill. Keep doing the good
Thank
work,
you.
feeding our kids.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all your time. I appreciate it very much. Have a great night.
You too. All right, moving on to item 2. Review bids for string instruments of middle and high schools and refer the following to the Common Council for action. Authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Southwestern Stringed Instruments, Inc., Project 4394 New String Instruments for Norwalk Middle and High Schools in the amount of $302,268.85, account number noted. Will someone move that, please? Ms. Edie, thank you very much. I do know that we approved instruments for Norwalk Public Schools in the capital budget. And I do also know from a conversation I had with the superintendent that there was an intention to buy some stringed instruments, which were very much in need. So who's going to take this? Is that you, Rob?
It is me.
Okay.
So thank you. The string orchestra instrument music programs at the Norwalk High School and middle schools reach hundreds of students each year. And the program serves a variety of students from different ability levels, and they play at the local, state, and national level. The orchestras are on display in multiple concerts at different times of the year. And for the public and competition, we have our All City Strings coming up. I'll put a plug in for October 30th, and that'll be at City Hall. So hopefully people can come and see our different string programs play. Currently, many of the instruments at the schools are 20 years old or more and are in major disrepair due to both years of use and some being of lower quality materials. These instruments are difficult to play effectively, which will limit our students' growth. Teachers have accommodated by making their own quick repairs, fundraising on multiple platforms, or advocating for PTO dollars simply to survive. Our students rely on school-provided instruments as renting or purchasing is often too expensive for many of our families. And so we are hopeful that we can put new instruments into our students' hands to continue to grow our programs that are so valued in Norwalk Public Schools.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I mean, I speak all the time about our extraordinary music program, and the orchestra programs are just a real gift to our families starting so young. I know we start in elementary school, which is incredible that we are able to continue that. And if you've ever gone to one of those orchestra concerts, I mean, they're incredible what our kids do and what our teachers do with the kids. So I'm very much behind this. Ms. Ayers, did you have a question? Or is
No,
your
I
hand-
just wanted to piggyback. No, it's up for real rock this time. I just
Okay.
wanted to piggyback on what you said. I have seen children light up and parents have a sigh of relief when their child is giving that instrument, and many of the young people cannot afford to rent that instrument. And so I fully support this effort because I have seen how it has impacted and affected young people. And music and the arts is such a beautiful expression for our children to participate in. And a lot of times, it's a stress reliever for them as well. And so I just wanted to fully support it along with you, Chair.
Yeah, thanks very much. I mean, it's just, music changes lives, really does. Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, the question is, Rob, what are we going to do with the current instruments? I'm sure some of them are functional. Are we going to make those available to students to take home and keep home, or purchase at a very low price? I mean, I'm sure we're not just going to put all those instruments in the garbage.
We are not. We are going to continue to use the instruments that we have and hopefully continue to grow our program with more students. The only instruments that we would not continue to use are those ones that are on their final legs, so to speak. But the hope of the program is to really get more instruments into kids' hands and to continue to build our programs. And that's something that we have seen. We saw a drop in some of our programs during COVID. And now we are seeing an increase, and this is going to allow us to really continue to grow our programs. And what's really great about this proposal is that it is reaching multiple grade levels. It's meeting our high schools, and I want to give a shout out to Matt and Jen. They're our orchestra directors. Matt's actually on the call right now. He came because he's very passionate about it. So I want to thank them for their work. But it's also going to go to our middle schools as well. And the proposal does have instruments that are half size or smaller that can be used in our younger grades. So it is something that none of the instruments will go to use. We will not be getting rid of. We haven't had enough instruments, and so this is really something that is going to revolutionize our program and continue to grow. I would say for the next decade at least.
Fantastic. It's
Thank
nice
you.
to meet you, Matt. I didn't realize that are you at, which school are you at?
Hello, I'm the orchestra director at Brian McMahon High School.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, I do know Jen as well. In fact, she graduated high school with my daughter. So she does an incredible job. So thanks for coming tonight, Matt.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. All righty, that is unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 3, review sole source recommendation for the replacement of stage divider at Marvin School and refer the following to the Common Council for action. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Tri-State Folding Partitions, Inc. as a sole source vendor for the replacement of the stage divider at Marvin Elementary School for a total not to exceed $69,975, account number noted. Will someone make that motion? Mr. Burnett, thanks very much. I know that this does say a stage divider, but really what it is a gymnasium divider, if I understand from the backup. And so of course that's very important because that's how you have to separate the gym to so the kids can have their classes. So Bill, I'm going to assume that's you're going to take that.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So it's funny that this item is follows the one before because most elementary schools have a dividing door on their stage in addition to the curtains. And what they do is they actually use the stage for string instrument rehearsals. So what we have here is the current divider in the gym on the stage at Marvin Elementary School is original to the building.
Got it.
It's become a safety issue since it gets opened and closed so many times. We have it permanently fixed right now, and it's in need of replacement. So we went out to seek prices, and we were able to get 3, 2 of which came with additional costs for structural. So the cost was a lot higher. We have chosen, and we have done some research on a company called Tri-State. They do the structural in-house with their team, and they were a lot less money. So we went out for a sole source agreement together with the city's purchasing department, and that's what we have here in front of you. So due to safety reasons, we can no longer leave this current divider in its current state.
Okay. Any questions or comments? All right. Yeah, it's a safety issue and you've got to take care of that. So all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that also is unanimous. Thanks very much, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to building management, item B1. Review recommendation to designate security specialists as the sole source vendor for building security equipment improvements and refer the following recommendation to the Common Council for action. Authorize security specialists, a division of Alert System LLC, as our authorized service and installation representative for security access and CCTV at the various municipal properties to include but not limited to Norwalk City Hall, Norwalk Police Department, and Norwalk Health Department. Will someone move that, please? Ms. Ayers moves the item. This, of course, is very important, the security of our buildings and the people in it, and the closed caption television that does connect to the police department. So it's really important. Alan, you want to?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, it's pretty somewhat straightforward in a sense. We worked with this company for a few years already, and I think when we look at police department and fire department and all the city municipal building, we like to deal with the same company every time to the extent possible, so that, you know, we don't ask another company to come in to look at, you know, we need 2 more camera kind of thing, and somebody else work on it. And again, they all tie together. So this is a little bit of procedure thing that typically purchasing will require to get multiple pricing when you get to like I think it's $3,000, something like that. So this will help us to expedite our process and have them come in and work with them to come up with a solution to anything that we need. And then we'll negotiate, then work out a reasonable price to do the improvement. I think for major projects, we may consider you know, go out and get proposal for other company. But as an operating and maintenance service company, we want to stay with the same company to do this kind of work. So that's somewhat pretty much the summary.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Any comments or questions? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Abstentions? Mr. Burnett, I'm not seeing your vote.
Yeah, I was trying to get my hand up
Oh,
because I had a question.
you got a
Is
question.
there, in the authorization, is there a dollar amount associated with it? Because there's no dollar amount listed in the authorization that's before us. So that was
Yeah.
my question. We're just,
Yeah, there's no dollar amount. Most of these projects are small. Again, it's probably like $3,000 or $5,000 or stuff like that kind of. So it really operating relationship. There are times that may be more, but most of the time it's a smaller amount kind of project. Again, if we, for some reason, we have a new building, we may consider going out for a different, looking at other options. But this is really for servicing and miscellaneous equipment upgrade kind of thing.
so even with a service contract, there's no specific fee that we're agreeing
Yeah,
to
there's
pay?
no, yeah, we don't have, this is not really a service contract, so we typically don't have to, they're not providing like, you know, annual inspection of the equipment. Really, it's when something's not working, we call on them to come in and to look at the camera, and if we need a newer version of some camera and better coverage, whatever, then we'll retain their services. Again, these are not like, you know, $100,000, $200,000 kind of contract. It's a maintenance and operational purposes.
Actually, you know, that kind of sparked another question. So with like, say you wanted to add a camera for safety reasons, would that fall under this
Yes.
same thing? Okay, all right, good.
Just imagine your own house, right? You have a security system kind of thing, and you want to, you know, we want to get a different camera, a different coverage kind of thing. You will call up the company that installed it and get a price from them. Chances are you won't go out and get 3 different prices. But again, when you decide to kind of replace the whole building or your own whole house, then you may go out and get proposal. So again, this is really basically it's a service and operational kind of maintenance services. Again, if we have a new building come out and we want to look at a new system, we can potentially look at, we probably won't designate them to use the same company. We may look at all the other options as available in the marketplace.
Okay, thank you, understood.
Just
All right,
one more
let's-
question.
oh, sure,
Madam
go ahead.
Chair. So is there a clip level, Alan, that if they're doing maintenance or servicing a specific city entity and they come back and say, well, to replace these cameras and this service is going to cost, let's just say, for example, $10,000. Is there a clip level where you would have to come back to the committee to get approval for that? Or you would just move forward and say, go ahead and install it? And so kind of what, is there a clip level?
There is none.
There is none. Okay.
Yeah. So it's really up to the up to the department head to look at what's being requested. Again, you know, when you're talking about police station or fire departments or city hall kind of thing, if we have to replace, if we decide to, for some reason, replace the system, it's a substantial cost. So for scenario like that, we will probably hire a separate security consultant company to actually look at it to see what kind of system is available out there and the integration with the police department and everything else. So it's much more, it's a different scenario. This is really like looking at existing equipment when we do some miscellaneous upgrade, or you know what, we want to cover these entrance because the existing system does a city hall, certain entrance may not be covered, so we want to extend wiring from from the system, and then or the system needs to upgrade in terms of programming side. So that's why we have this company come in and look, evaluate our needs and provide us with recommendation and pricing for maintenance upgrade kind of thing, more than a replacement.
All right, thank you. I have no further question.
Okay, Ms. Ayers?
Yes, Chair, and this is directly to you and possibly Councilperson Burnett as the Chair of the Finance. Do we not have an ordinance or a procedure, or my mind not firing correctly at this time of night, that says that any expenditure under $10,000 does not have to come to the council for approval?
I'll
May I?
defer to our finance chair there.
May I?
To address that, that's specifically related to if we're going out to through purchasing to purchase an item.
So the rationale behind my question, Councilperson Burnett, is using the scenario that Mr. Lowe presented, if they had to refab a whole, like the police department, wouldn't that have to come to us because that cost is over $10,000, and it would then first go to what committee is that? Public Safety Committee, and then to Finance. So there should not be a scenario where there is a $10,000 plus purchase that we are not approving. Am I to understand that correctly? I could be completely wrong, but
I'll let Alan chime in on
Yeah,
that.
go ahead, Alan.
Yes, the city ordinance requires any projects that less than $100,000 does not necessarily go to common council. So typically anything under 100,000 does not go to common council. But when we do go sole source for some reason, then I have to come to common council for like, let's say $10,000 item. So what this does is so we will stay the cost if something comes in for $20,000, $10,000, whatever it may be, for these miscellaneous upgrade. I don't have to come to common council because anything under $100,000 do not have to common council. But for item that does not come to common council, the purchasing department still have some very specific guideline in terms of getting additional quote. So I believe it's like either, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but there's a whole guideline. I believe it's anything under $4,000 or $5,000, we need two prices. And at some point we have to go out to bid still, but then it just doesn't go to common council for approval of those bids, but yet we still have to bid it out. I believe it's $20,000 or $25,000 we still have to go out to bid.
But there is a check and balance. There's a safeguard. There's not just a writing of the check. There is some check and balance to make sure we're just not spending. That's the overarching question, I guess.
I mean, he just like every department, right? We approve the capital budget that includes the department. And so if there were any additional spending over the capital budget, you would have to go to the BET, right? Or, you'd have to request additional funds.
No, I get that, Madam Chair, I get that part, but he's saying that this is more of a service fee. And it could be am I freezing? Because you guys are freezing.
No, we can still hear you. We hear you.
Okay. So if it's something as low as $3,000, my question is, is there a check and balance? We have to have a check and balance to make sure we're just not spending $3,000. And I'm sure it's somewhere already in the procedures. We just might not be aware of it, but someone in purchasing or Alan, there has to be a check and balance. Like there has to be a check and balance.
There is.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, there is. I mean, again, that's the purchasing guidelines that we have to comply with. So there's, again, clip points. Like, again, I believe it's like under $2,000, we all need one price. I think between $2,000 or to $5,000, we need 2 quotes. And above that, we need to get 3 quotes. And then when over, I think, believe $20,000, $25,000, we had to go to public bidding, and the purchasing monitor all this process. So when we do a request, we request a purchase order. Purchasing, we look at all of these things that we are supposed to do and check and balance and make sure that all the procedures are followed. The reason why this is coming to the committee and the Common Council is that because this is a very unique service, and because there are times that we do not go and get separate pricing. So we want to make sure that the Common Council is aware of it, that, for security purposes, we want to go to sole source. And this is with conversation with Sharon, the purchasing, that we are doing this. And she's fully aware that, we need this, and she agreed to it. And that's why we're sending it to the council for approval for this very specific function that we want. Because it deviates from our standard check and balance. That's why we're coming to the council.
Does that answer your question, Ms. Ayers?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, all right, thanks. Any other comments or questions on this? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that is unanimous. Thanks. All righty. Moving on to item C, school construction. Number 1, review and approve FF&E and technology package for submission to the state Land Use and Building Management Committee is the recognized school building committee by the state. Common Council approval is not required. Authorize the chairman of the Land Use and Building Management Committee, acting as the designated Norwalk School Building Committee, to certify the City of Norwalk Land Use and Building Management Committee's approval of final plans, specifications, and cost estimate for the state project 103-0264N South Norwalk Elementary School FF&E and Technology Phase 2 of 2. Will someone move that, please? Mr. Burnett. So this is, common procedure with new schools and renovate as new. So Alan, I'll just turn it over to you to give the details here.
Yeah, just very quickly before the Catherine from TechCon present the request. For major school construction project, we do in 2 phases. The first phase go out to get the contractor, construction manager to build the building. But because furniture always comes a little later, and also technology changes as time go by, so that becomes a phase 2 of a 2-phase project. So in case you wonder, is it phase 2 of 2? I think the phase 1 is actually the construction of the building. So as we go, we start the construction of the building, and then the design team working with Board of Education staff members and the principal and teachers, depending what the situation is, to develop the furniture package, and then we submit it to the state for approval. So that's what in front of you. It's really approving the furniture design and selection. Typically, the committee doesn't go into detail what color we pick, whatever. That's all kind of vetted out with the school administration and also the school itself, the principal. In this case, a little different. I think there's a change of principal for the existing South North School at the old Columbus School. But at the same time, there is a lot of conversation, and also the design of these furniture. Because we have done couple of elementary school in recent years, including Lower Pona School, Jefferson, and recently Cranberry. The Board of Ed and Sandra's office, we're familiar what furniture works and doesn't work, and is a kind of progression in knowledge and all of furniture that works for each school, and furniture do change for the education strategy and idea changes. So furniture do change, but when you try to keep up with the latest and best kind in terms of ideas in education and furniture, these furniture are expensive. So I think Catherine can go through. I think we have about 10 minutes or so for you. If you could go through some of the concepts and what's being submitted to the state. And one lastly is that The reason why this does not go to a common council is that the city, through the city ordinance, a designated land use and building management committee as the entity the state recognizes the school building committee. So the state is not looking for the common council to sign any document. They're really looking for the school building, Norwalk School Building Committee, which is land use. So technically, we do not have to go to common council because the ordinance actually assigned the land use as the body. And also, when this project was started, there was a separate action that designate the common council designate this committee one more time as the school building committee. So assuming that this item get approved, Barbara, you will be asked to sign those documents electronically. So, okay, thank you.
Hey, Catherine, we'll turn it over to you now.
Oh,
You're muted.
you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Yep.
Okay, excellent. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. As Alan mentioned, I'm Catherine Meese with Texan Architects. I'm the senior interior designer that's been involved on the project for phase 1 and for phase 2. And I'm very excited to present to you the furniture this evening. I did want to start by mentioning, answering some of the questions that did come up earlier from Ms. Laura Cella. I just wanted to address the question about the numbers, the budget that you're looking at as part of tonight's agenda. That is essentially a professional estimate that we put together so that you understand kind of, it's to make sure that the furniture budget that you have is reasonable and that the furniture that we're recommending will fit within that budget. So it's not that those are the costs that will actually be necessarily spent. It's a budget, an estimate to make sure, basically to test the health of that budget that was already established. So I hope that answers that question a little bit. The other thing I wanted to mention, which should kind of make it a little bit clearer too, is that all of the furniture that we specify for these types of projects, this is all commercial furniture, which is why when you look at the cost of it, some of them seem very high comparatively to what you'd think, you know, for your house. Like, so the $7,000 credenza, that's actually a full office suite for an administrative office. So it has, you know, a desk, a filing cabinet, bookcase, it's all of that included. So I just wanted to clarify that in case in looking at that estimate document, it's a little bit confusing. The other nice thing about the fact that it's commercial furniture is all the furniture that we're specifying is furniture that has been approved through the state and as part of the state contract. And what that should assure you is a number of things. One, that it's going to be of good quality. The state requires a certain number of years of life to be expected from all furniture that's purchased. And that's usually about 20 plus years for furniture. So it's mostly furniture with lifetime warranties. That's why things like area rugs aren't reimbursable. It's because there's not a reason to believe that you're going to have an area rug last more than 20 years. It also, the state also requires that the furniture be low emitting in terms of chemicals. So the pieces have things like BIFMA certification, Green Guard certification, MOS certification. These all basically speak to the chemical output of the furniture. So just wanted to start with that, and then I'll share my screen here so that you can see the brief presentation we prepared to give everyone here this evening kind of an idea of the general furniture. Are you seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful, thank you. So just starting with a couple of really graphic floor plans, just to kind of give you the overall layout of the school, because I know not everyone here has necessarily been involved, but essentially there's 2 floors to the school. The main level, it will house the pre-K, K, and grade 1 classrooms, as well as a lot of the specials. And the upper level of the school will have grades 2 through 5, as well as most of the special education classrooms and some of the specials as well. One of the areas we're going to show you this evening is pre-kindergarten, and that's because that tends to be kind of one of the spaces that has the most furniture in it. We know that pre-K has special needs in terms of they need a lot of things that are going to keep them play acting. So you can see up in the left-hand corner here a little tower that houses dress-up clothes, different types of bookcases so they can store manipulatives, small toys, as well as books, play setup for imaginative play in the classroom. And each one is labeled with a letter and then tagged on the floor plan, so you can kind of get an idea for where these things fall. We have tables and chairs for the classroom set up here. The tables can be reconfigured so that they could be spread out or put together into group tables. We have sand table, teacher's desk, teacher's chair, cots, pretty much, and a couple little play couches, things of that nature. As Alan mentioned as well, we have worked in great detail with the school administrators on the selections for this furniture. And we'll get to some of the specials in here as well. Those have gone through those teachers as well so that they can weigh in on specific needs in terms of, say, for example, the media center, the band room, things like that. Grade 3, you can see quite a difference from pre-K. Here we have desks that are reconfigurable and grouped together in different, these are desks that are individual, so we can actually spread them out in the classroom. We can also put them together in rows. We can put them together in groups of 4, groups of 5. And one of the reasons this particular desk was selected is that there is a book bin that can be used and in any configuration be accessed by students. Also, one of my favorite parts about this desk is that it is an ADA desk. There's an ADA desk rather that matches it. We will have one ADA desk in each classroom, which is a requirement. And the lovely thing is that because it is the same shape and it's also from the same manufacturer, it would have the same finishes and really kind of blend in so that any student that requires this desk, it doesn't necessarily feel like they stand off from the other desk. It doesn't feel as different, which is nice. Also some soft seating for a little book area. Again, same desk, same teacher's chair. Those are very consistent throughout the school. Small reading area, additional bookshelves, and storage. In the media center, this is the overall floor plan of the media center. This is the circulation desk here. It's hard to see, it's a little bit light, but this is dashed in because this is actually built in as part of the phase 1 project. So it's millwork or casework. Everything else that you're seeing here is furniture. So we have bookcases all around the exterior, everywhere we don't have windows, and where we do have windows, we actually have bookcases beneath them. The goal was to store over 12,000 volumes of books, which we have achieved. These are bookcases in the center as well. And then on the right-hand side here, we have a couple of soft seating areas so that students can sit and read. And then on the left-hand side, this is more of a teaching setup. So we actually have a classroom set up, different tables, different types of seating to kind of make it a really fun learning environment actually in the media center itself. And you can kind of see the different types of seats that we have here. I should have mentioned at the beginning of this as well, one of the, you recently completed your Cranberry Elementary School. The furniture that we are selecting here for South Norwalk was based primarily on the furniture that was selected for Cranberry, where there was furniture that wasn't as preferable, or there was something that we wanted to do differently. That's where we chose different furniture and worked through those selections. But pretty much everything that you like from Cranberry is here as well. Special education classroom, same desks, same chairs as we're using in our more standard classrooms. Same storage. Actually, I think we have a little bit more. File cabinet for the teacher, same teacher's desk and chair, teaching easel, and area rug, group table, which I think I failed to mention earlier, and a soft featured chair for when they're sitting down at the front of the classroom as opposed to doing desk work. The art classroom here, you can see we have tables, chairs, standard teaching setup, a lot of storage here, a couple drawing racks, some flat files. In the art storage room, we mainly have kind of basic metal shelving. And one thing that's not part of the furniture package, but just so you're aware, in terms of storage and things of that nature, you actually have a good deal of millwork in this classroom as well. Band, pretty typical. We have some storage in the back, typical music chairs, music stands, and teacher desk and chair. Cafeteria, same setup as you have at Cranberry. So these are individual tables with individual chairs that would be set up, probably 90, 95% of the time. What you're seeing here, this is a storage closet, and this would contain chairs that would be stacked up. You can stack 16 high. So we have a number of carts in here, and that is to allow us in those 5 to 10% of the time when you actually need to set up the cafeteria for a presentation on the platform. We have an opening here between, this is the cafeteria on the right-hand side. I really hope you can see my cursor. This is the gymnasium here in the center. And then on the left-hand side, this is the actual stage platform. So we are able to set up 440 chairs here for any kind of large presentation that you might have on the platform. So those would be housed in here most of the time. Meanwhile, the tables would fold up and just store in there when you are using the chairs. We also wanted to show you the multi-purpose room. So there's no furniture in the multi-purpose room, but I think this was a special request that we share how this room kind of looks and functions. And this is a room that has kind of an athletic floor to it, acoustic panels in the colors. This is an older rendering here, but we did want to show you this for the color and the general feel of the space. You can see it's a really high ceiling. These are these are the current elevations of the room. This is how it will actually be built out. And that's the entirety of my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Catherine. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Burnett, and then Catherine, I'm just going to ask you to stop sharing your screen so we can see everyone.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Go ahead, Mr. Burnett.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The question I have is, well, what type of flexibility do we have, especially with the younger grades, the pre-K and kindergarten, first grade? If for example, if the population size shifts and we don't need as many kindergarten classes as first grade classes, and we need to increase the number of first grade classes, do we have the flexibility to do that with the furniture and fixtures, or will we be limited to the point where, well, we can't make this first kindergarten class a first grade class because all the furniture, fixtures, and stuff in the room is built out for a first grader and not a kindergarten? So where's the flexibility in terms of if we needed to shift classes and the use of those classes?
Sure, that's a good question. There is flexibility between kindergarten and preschool. They have very similar furniture, actually, so that gives you a fair amount of forgiveness there. And then the same is true for the upper grades. The same desk is used throughout, the same chairs used throughout. Also, in terms of the chairs that we specify, there's a range of sizes, because obviously for each grade, I mean, gosh, you have, a kindergartner who's really tiny and one that's really large. So there's actually a couple different chair sizes that we have for each classroom, each class grade. So those you could take the larger ones and shift them up to the next grade. Say you have a bubble year where the first grade is really large, you'll have that ability to kind of pull chairs differently between the classrooms. Also, in terms of the look of the furniture, the reason that we're using the same desk throughout and the same chair throughout is also to give you that additional kind of comfort that you have the flexibility there. There are schools that sometimes will do all the first grade, chairs are going to be red and all the second grade chairs are going to be yellow. And then obviously when you start mixing them in, it's very obvious. Here, the intention is to keep the color consistent throughout so that it's those bubble years you don't really notice from a furniture standpoint, and you can kind of borrow back and forth as needed. Does that answer the question?
Somewhat.
Greg, I'm sorry, let me interrupt you a little.
Sure, Alan. Yeah.
I believe this is a 4-section school, so that means each grade has 4 kindergarten classes and first grade. And then what we did in the programming phase, we actually, I believe we created 3 more extra classrooms. So for those years that we have in a bubble and large enrollment, so that year, that grade will have 5 classrooms. So we got extra classroom that are set up for like kindergarten and I believe kindergarten, first grade kind of thing. Second and third is like it's another type of classroom. So again, we have 3 extra classrooms to handle enrollment increases, and they are furnished to fit those grades that as they say move up, they will go to that classroom. So we have that flexibility in terms of addressing enrollment, and the furniture in those rooms will be appropriate for that grade. So so we have the ability to flex, and the furniture would be designed for those grades as they move up.
So we have no limitations in terms of furniture preventing us from expanding if we needed to, depending on the school population. There's
Right. So I think pre-K is a little different, but for kindergarten and first grade, they both have class with bathrooms in there, I believe. So it's set up very similarly. So we got 1 extra classroom that has a K and pre-K. Again, I believe that second and third grade, there's another classroom that's set up for those 2 grades kind of thing. So they're a little different. So we did address it as part of the programming phase to address enrollment and increases, and then these 2 classrooms were designed for grouping of grades.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was a really good question, because we know sometimes there are bubbles, right? And you'll have a large group come in, and you need an extra classroom for the kindergarten, and then they move up through the school. So that was a really good question, Greg. Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, it's the furniture is so specialized, and it also really helps the teachers to to work the curriculum, and school has changed so much than from when we were in school, and you just sat in these desks, and there's so much small group work, and it really makes for the furniture really makes the best learning environment for our kids to succeed. So I think it's something that's really important. Okay, if there's no more questions or comments, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Alrighty, that's unanimous as well. Thank you, everyone. And now let's move on to the school construction projects update.
Okay, I will, Alan. Oh, I'm sorry. I have an ambulance going by. I can put the photos up online.
Sure.
Alan, would you like to speak to it?
Yeah, I'm not going to take too much time on these projects. South Law School is moving along very well. We are scheduled for a steel topping ceremony. I believe it's next. That's not high.
Yes, I know.
Oh.
Sorry.
For next Tuesday at 11 o'clock. So this invitation will go out. I mean, I'm still very amazed. I don't get to go out often to look at the building, but since the early spring we started this project, this is what's happening. The steel is up, and it's scheduled to be pretty much complete, and the topping ceremony will be next Tuesday at 11 o'clock. I think I just repeated myself. So it is very exciting.
Alan, it's actually 10 o'clock. We
it's 10 o'clock?
Yeah, we received the invite
Yes.
to, this afternoon.
Oh, yeah, oh, okay. Okay, I thought we were talking about 11. Okay, very good, thank you. So is this week? Oh, this is like 2 weeks ago almost.
Yeah, 9/19, yep.
So you know where the concrete is? Right, there it goes. This is more recent.
9/24.
Okay, so yep. So again, by next week, the steel, it's pretty much done, and then we will be doing the topping ceremony, which is generally speaking, the large piece of steel for the building. So it's a very typical ceremonial thing for new building construction to have that event. And just a little side note on South North School is that the Oxford properties all been acquired except the corner property. The houses, we have helped to relocate the residents in those houses. And we are looking at the what you call it? We're looking to we got pricing for the demolition and the construction of those areas, and it's about $2 million. It's something that I'm working on, and at the same time we're looking to see whether the state will reimburse us, because as part of the original request to the state, those properties were not included in the overall plan. So technically they are not eligible for reimbursement. So I have made a submission to the state to request their consideration to include the construction costs of those property as part of the so that we'd be eligible. So I'm waiting for a response from the state. The only other property that we have not acquired is actually the corner piece of property, as well as the spur line, which is on South Main Street. I believe the law department is going to be submitting for eminent domain requests. I think they submitted eminent domain for the corner property today. I think next week or 2 weeks we're making a submission to the courts for the eminent domain for the spur line area, which is the area along the South Main Street. And furthermore, I believe the state has allocated the city $2.5 million to help support the intersection and roadway improvement along South Main Street. I think there was some public notice that notice that went out, and so we would mention that at the topping ceremony on Tuesday. Overall, that's where we are, and I think we are making great progress. And generally speaking, everything is still on schedule, and I think that's about it. If you have any questions, let me know.
Okay.
Anyone have questions? I mean, it's just so exciting. The school's really moving along. Very exciting.
Yeah. Regarding Norwalk High School, it seems like we're moving a little slower than South North School because there's a bigger school and bigger piece of property. So, you know, it takes longer to do grading and soil remediation or management. Some of the soil we need to move off site, but a lot of it that we can keep on site, even though they consider the term they use is polluted soil, which you can keep on site, but as long as you cap it underneath the foundation and stuff like that. So they are moving along, and they are on schedule. So I don't think there's too much to talk about.
No.
This is actually where the pool area is going to be, because we're going to dig down for the pool. And the tube that you see, the black tube on the right, it's because we're digging down deeper into the ground. So there's a dewatering required because the water table, at some point we're hitting the water table. So we have a little generator running just to keep it dry. That's what that is. Overall, it's continue to move forward. So I don't have too much to add on that.
Okay.
But so far, Norwalk High is on time, on budget. Last we checked in.
Yeah, I just want to remind me, yeah, it's on time. And the other thing that, in terms of budget wise, certain things we haven't bid out yet, like demolition of existing building and stuff like that. So we will have to go out to bid on that, and then and we anticipated that we're going to request the state for additional money to finish the whole funding package, because those items has not been bid out. I believe besides the demolition of the building, I think there's a couple other items. And we budgeted $5 million for furniture. So we are starting the design process for the furniture package right now. So, okay. That's generally speaking the update. I just remember something like back in the South North School. This is a little complicated to explain, but what happened is when we designed the projects, the Oxford property and the improvement thereof, we bought like 5 pieces of property, like 3 houses and a commercial construction yard of Matera and Sons. That purchase of those property came after we developed the projects. So when we submitted the state, those property were not part of the project. So there's no construction cost allocated for that. So this year, as part of this year's capital budget process, I actually requested $3.37 million. Part of it is for acquisition and part of it is for construction of that area. As I said before, I'm trying to include, at this point, I'm trying to have the state to accept these properties as part of the project so that the city can potentially get some reimbursement money for this. What I want to mention to you is that as part of the Newfield Construction's guaranteed maximum price, we approved the contract for, I think it's about $50 million. The council had authorized the building management department, which is generally speaking me, to do change order for the project, which is $2.5 million. The construction cost is about, for these additional properties, it's about $2.1 million. So I will be signing change order with Newfield Construction for about $2.1 million, so that we can incorporate the construction of this area. So just want you to know ahead of time for full disclosure that, again, the Common Council authorized $2.5 million for contingency. I will be spending $2.1 million for this improvement along Oxford, so that you are fully aware of it. So so far we spent about $200,000 for soil remediation kind of thing, but there's enough contingency available to sign this additional scope. Okay, so again, potentially if we run into more change order item, I have to come back to request the council to increase the contingency amount, because I'm spending $2.1 million of that for the scope change. I hope I didn't confuse you too much.
No, got it. Understood.
Right. So again, so I want to let you know ahead of time that what I'm doing, it is a large sum of money that we're spending. But again, this will never be was the scope originally. But this is what we need to do. So just want to be full disclosure at that time.
Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
Alan.
Thank you.
Mr. Burnett.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Alan, when do you anticipate hearing back from the state on the possibility of including those additional properties for state reimbursement?
We submitted it about, I would say three while I was out. I would think a month ago. They responded about 2 weeks ago, and they asked for additional information. Since then, we put those information together and we submitted to them this week. I have Jim Giuliano following up with them end of this week, potentially another week or so. So to answer your question, hopefully it'll be about 2 weeks. Then we will know. And the reimbursement rate for this project is 60%. Not all site improvements are eligible at 60%, because the state look at it like a basketball court. They look at it as a recreation facility for the city as well. So typically, something like a basketball court, they will reimburse at half the normal reimbursement rate, which would be 30%. But $2 million, whatever we get, would be some benefit, financial benefit to the city.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Go ahead, Alan. You have HVAC improvement.
Oh, HVAC. I don't think we have too much to talk about. Bottom line is that we have 2 months ago, I guess I came by. Is it 2 months ago already? Yeah, we approved Jim Giuliano's office to manage the project, as well as approved the engineers to design. they have met and they have started the design phase. We are working on development schedule for this project because it's very intricate in terms of like the phasing of this project, because only time we can do construction really in summertime, especially any kind of abatement. So we have to do abatement next summer and then mechanical improvement the year after. So there's many challenges with these projects, and also delivery of your mechanical equipment, timing for delivery. It's also, I mean, in order to start installing equipment in the summertime, you really have to order the stuff in February, so that and you got to bid it out in January. So on and on. So we are working working with the two design firms very closely to develop all the strategy and scheduling for this project. So again, there's 6 project total is about $35 million. We're eligible for 60% reimbursement for these projects, but we again, it's getting very complicated too, because like some equipments are heating and cooling. So the cooling part may not be as bad, because if you don't run summer school 1 year, then we can do that. But we can go again. Doing construction during school year is challenging between the noise and people working on the roof and stuff, and also we still have to provide ventilation for the building depending on what the situation is. In any event, we are moving along, and we are working feverishly on getting this project going. So,
okay. Yeah, it's a lot of work, so it requires clearly a lot of planning and preparation. All right, thanks. And then finally, under miscellaneous, the Norwalk Community Recreation Center indoor floor plans.
Yes.
Joanne could go through this.
Yes, last month you would like to see a floor plan, so I have that here. And okay, you see okay? All righty. So this is the first floor. And we have it separated between the general building that's already there, and then the addition with the gym and restrooms and some changing rooms. So I'll zoom in a little bit.
I'm sorry, let me interrupt you. So can you zoom back out again? So the bottom, on the left-hand side, the bottom is the main entrance, South Main Street. And the gym is actually go on top of that on top, not on top. I mean, yeah, go on right there. So you can see how the relationship is. So you go for the front of the building, and the gym is the back of the building.
Okay. So
sorry.
That's okay. I'll just zoom in a little bit just to show you just some of the rooms. This will be the main office here on the left, the bottom left. And then this is the YMCA area where they're going to have the esports and the STEM program. And this is one community center or community meeting room. Sorry, we have 3 of them. The other large one is right here. So that's currently the way it is laid out right now. And then we have a fitness center that we're going to have a small number of bikes and things like that. And then right here will be the hallway, like to get into the gymnasium right here. Okay. And then we can move to the second floor. Second floor, we have we put some tables and chairs and things in here so you can have an idea of what it looks like. But upstairs there is art room. There's a recording studio, a music practice room with a music room and piano here, a video game room, and there is a computer lab for everyone there, and then a movie room. We have a movie room, and then one of the newer ones is adaptive sensory room that they the recreation department is still kind of working on programming of that room and what that's going to look like. And then here's another community meeting room, and attached to it is a teaching kitchen. So a pretty large space that is going to have cameras and things like that so that students or adults when they are doing cooking classes can be around the large area, but then also in the back, and then all around the exterior of the room will be all of the appliances. So that is a brief synopsis of all of the areas. Is there any questions? I whizzed through that pretty quickly. It's not really exciting to look at black and white photos, but
Yeah, but it gives us an idea. Ms. Edie.
Hi, thank you, Chair. It looks like it's gonna be a great building. Just curious, will it be opportunity to have like events? Like if you need a space for, a party or a wedding or something
absolutely.
like that?
Yes, I believe that's what the Rec and Parks will plan on doing. Mostly, I think that they were talking about external kind of rentals on like Sundays or, but they have programming, I believe, most of the week, either between the YMCA and or their own. But I believe they're going to have different cooking classes and things just for the general community members. So yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Burnett?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just going back to the connection between the current structure and the new gym in the back. You said there's a hallway that leads to the gym. I mean, is it all going to be connected, or is it going to
Yes.
remain separate? So
No.
how is it going to be connected?
It's so there is already a current hallway to the back door. And so that will be the way you would get to the gymnasium. So you walk through the first floor.
Can you show the plan?
I'm sorry?
No, just show the plan that you
Yeah,
showed.
I'll pull that up.
Because there's no hallway to go out the back door currently. They have that multi-purpose room, and you go out the door. There's no hallway. You go out the door and you're in the back parking lot. So that's why I was saying, what hallway are you referring to? So currently, there's a community room, and then off
Right.
the community room, there's a kitchen.
Yeah. And
And
then
then
here's a corridor. There's a corridor right here, and this is like you said, the back door to the parking lot, but it won't be a parking lot. It will be a gymnasium.
So the doors that's currently available going out the kitchen that leads to the parking lot, also that goes away?
Are you saying above the catering kitchen?
No, if you're on the
Right.
first floor,
Mm-hmm.
currently, if you're in that kitchen area, there's a door that leads to the parking lot. And my question is that door going away? And is the gymnasium, is there going to be a corridor built, an enclosed corridor to connect the current building to the new gym? Or is it going to
Yes.
be separate access?
No. The first item that you mentioned, there will be a hallway. Yes, that will be in this section above. And the door that you're referring to in the kitchen is going to be like kind of like a roll-up garage door type of door to be a concession stand. So that will look out into the hallway while, Team B is in the hall waiting for Team A to finish. And so there's an opportunity for a staging area there.
Greg, the existing door will be eliminated. We agree that whether was it B121, this is a new corridor. We connect the existing building here to the gym.
Okay, that's where I was trying to get at, because you said that's a new corridor. That doesn't
Right,
exist
right.
today.
Mm.
Right, so
And-
that's what I was trying to understand. How are new current building and the new building going to connect. That B corridor
connection-
doesn't exist today.
Right, the connection is at B121. That's where the corridor is.
Let's see.
It might be helpful if the drawing could
Yeah.
show the entire building
Right.
and not next to each other, because this is
Mhm.
kind of confusing,
Yeah.
not showing them connected.
So you
Okay.
see right where the cursor is, the B121 is the same
Uh-huh.
spot. So from that
Oh,
corridor,
okay.
you enter into the gym.
The hallway here, yeah.
Okay.
When you actually go into the gym, the
And
way
it
we
loo-
designed
and it
this.
looks like what's that, 119 right there is also an entrance.
That's
It's-
the window.
Oh, that's the window to the
Yes, the
concession
concession stand.
Okay.
So the way we designed this is that the gym has its own entrance. You can look at the left-hand side, it says vestibule. So on weekends and at nighttime, if there's a gym there's activity use of the gym, we will close that door where we have the connection, the B121, so that the public do not have access to the rest of the building. Meanwhile, the gym can function independently from the rest of the building.
Great. That was my next question, that on off hours, there's no need to go through the main building to get
Right.
to the gym.
Right.
You can
Correct.
enter the gym from the exterior.
Right. So that we had this portion of the building has its own bathrooms.
Mhm.
So that we don't rely to, originally we were trying to reduce costs and try to use this bathroom inside the building, but keeping the bathroom, separate bathroom for the gym give us the ability to be more flexible in terms of operation and doesn't have to have staff inside the existing building and controlling access. So again, whether was at B121 before, that door would be locked. So there's no access from the gym during off hours.
Okay. Any
Can
other
I just
questions?
ask,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to bring up the plans again, but what is the depth of the space, the hallway? As you come out that corridor and then, the window is here, what's the depth of that hallway between that wall and the gym?
The depth of the whole, you mean the width?
Yeah,
The
because I'm just
corridor.
wondering about like people crowding in, like you say, teammates,
Yeah.
in the gym and waiting, team B is hanging out and there's, maybe somebody wants to buy something at the concession stand, like.
I don't know that. Alan, are you able to tell from the plan?
Yeah, yes. Can you
Okay.
can you put the plan back up?
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I saw the.
So,
So if you look at the double doors, they generally speaking, they're 6 foot wide. So
Okay. Mhm.
So we're talking about potentially 6'9". From the end of the basketball court to the wall, it's probably like I would say 9 plus 12,
Okay.
about 12 feet.
12 feet, yeah,
Okay, all right, that's reasonable. All right, thank you. I was just curious.
no problem.
All right, any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Madam
Go
Chair.
ahead. Sure.
Just if you, is there going to be, it doesn't appear, or maybe if you can put it up again, on the basketball court, are there going to be bleachers, places for people to sit?
There's gonna be a two bleachers all the way down.
Joanne,
For
can you show the floor plan again?
Yeah.
Can you bring up the plan again?
You keep taking
you
it
don't
off.
like seeing my face. I'm getting to be a pro at that. Okay. All right. So right over here, these are the bleachers on this side.
Oh, those are that's where the bleachers will be.
Yep.
That's, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're not anticipating that many spectators or fans, but if so, they'll have chairs. You can put more chairs around as well. So, but these are the 3 pickleball courts. There's a volleyball court and then the high school basketball court lines.
Ms. Ayers has a question.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Were you done, Mr. Burnett?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, go on, Nikki.
What is the capacity of the gym?
Oh, I don't know that we got there yet.
The
Okay,
capacity is how
like-
many people you can fit in there?
Or fire code, is that your question?
Yeah, like how many, you're saying
Hmm.
those bleachers on the two far sides. And if you need to, you would put more
Mm-hmm.
chairs down. But isn't that determined by the capacity of what the space can hold?
Yes, there are certain number of doors that had to be put in for code. So I can certainly ask what that brings us to and how many people we're able to have in there at the same time. Because we
I
are
can wait
gonna
till
have,
next week. I mean, I can wait till next month. It's not pressing, just, seeing the pictures and wondering, well,
yeah.
how many, what really is the capacity of that space?
Mhm.
And I guess it would be different if it was using it in a game setting compared to if someone was using it for like a forum or something like that. Just wondering what the capacity was.
Okay. Okay. Yes, there actually is a divider as well, a curtain mesh divider, so that two different activities can be going on at the same time. But I will certainly ask that question tomorrow morning when we have our meeting. Okay. Nicole has a question, I believe.
Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, thank you. That was a good question that Ms. Ayers just asked. Because you said it was 2 bleachers, right? Just 2 bleachers?
2 rows, yes.
Okay, because I was thinking
unfor-
about, oh, I'm sorry.
No, unfortunately, we had originally wanted to do more, but since that each row is like square footage that would be moved out, the price was just getting to be a little bit too high.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the areas.
Okay, I was just thinking like, is there space to have like a tournament for people?
Yeah,
to-
what, I'm sorry. The way the bleachers are calculated is that we look at like there's two teams playing. Each team, let's say they have 15 players. And assuming these are kids, generally speaking, a parent will come by here, the parents will come by. So we figure each team will be about 30 audience kind of thing. So combined feature wise, we are providing about 60 or 75 seating capacity.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we are looking at like these are two rows of seating. We are looking at a further more additional seating. But what it does is project out into the court more, so we're gonna make the building wider. It's really come down to construction costs and stuff like that. The building will be bigger and things like that. Again, so we look at we have 2 teams playing, and then assuming 15 players per team, and I mean basketball sometimes even less than that, but again, assuming 15 and 2 parents per kid. Again, it came out to about 30 seat per team. And so we have at either 60 or 75. And then on the other side, near the bathrooms, there would be the coaches' benches and players' seating kind of thing on the other side.
Ms. Ayers, did you have another question?
I do. I just want it to be reflected on the record. In general, Norwalk does not have a true community center, and this building will answer the need of having a community center and multifunctional spaces for things that we have not even thought of in Treat yet. And I understand we are under a budget restrictions and we had to cut where we needed to cut. But from growing up in Norwalk and knowing how popular certain sports are, particularly in the community where our first community center is going to be, because I'm saying we need more than one, to say that the capacity may be 100 people for a gymnasium seems problematic. I think Ms. Edie said, what about tournaments and stuff like that? I've never been to a tournament in Norwalk with just 100 people. And so, but I do understand, Alan and team, that you had to cut and we had to you know, we were over budget and we were trying to get this project to come to fruition. But this gym space is so important to this community and the Norwalk community in general. I'm concerned, not with the project, but just concerned with the capacity of this space, because I see it being overused. And I think where we're at right now, it's like, oh, it's a casual use. I've been in the community long enough, and I know and have heard what people are saying. This is going to be overused. And because we don't have a true community center, you know, people are going to come to have activities here and to do tournaments here and to do programs. I anticipate this place being booked every weekend. When it was Neon, that community center, which was a room, which was much smaller than what you're presenting here, was very booked all the time because people use it for different things. And just want to put that on the record that I do have a concern, just seeing and hearing, and I know there may be nothing that we could do about it at this point, but the capacity of that gym.
So, Alan, you had said that there would be some room to add some chairs. Is there have some, numbers been
I think
around about, how many you could possibly fit?
yeah, I think there's I think when you have a basketball game or a volleyball game going on, the bleacher is supposed to support that surface. So the seating capacity is based on, like, you have two teams on the court, and the seating is really reflective. The bleacher is reflective what the public coming out to see, that supporting those players at those teams individually. In terms of capacity for the gym, I would think that it's we'll get the number to the committee tomorrow. I think it will be a couple hundred people, but we haven't bought any chairs for like 200 people kind of thing. But that's a different event, It's not a game situation. So if you want to have an event there with with tables and chairs set up kind of thing, the capacity is very different. It's going to be, I'm making it up here, don't quote me on this, like 200 people could be in there, 250 people can be in there, because the gym is I think it's about 7,000 square feet. So you could have 150 people in there pretty much easily kind of thing. But at the same time, is that the bleacher will only reflect that when the gym is being used as a sports facility, and the seating is really to support the two teams that are playing.
Mr. Burnett.
Yes, Madam Chair. Do we have an update on the parking situation to support the community center?
The answer is, in terms of parking, the cities need to approach the church at I think it's what's the name of the
Mount Zion is right.
Mount Zion, I'm sorry. Yeah. To see if we work out some leasing some spaces from them for during weekday hours. The parking is limited to what we have right now, so it's not, we're not creating additional parking space. So that was always been the conversation with Director of Parks Robert Stowe and the administration to approach the church to work out some kind of a parking arrangement.
And you're not aware of those conversations having happened yet?
No.
Yeah, they need to happen. So, okay.
All
right, lots to think about. Okay. Any final?
I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. When I get back to work tomorrow or Friday, I will send a reminder to Tom Livingston and the mayor and Robert to remind them that that conversation need to be had.
Yep, great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, because that's going to be really important. Okay. Anything before I call for a motion to adjourn? All right. Who would like to make that motion? Mr. Burnett? Okay. All in favor? All right. Okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.